Time to cancel the Cabal, with Stephen Roberts. On MSI Radio.
All right, and welcome everyone to another Sunday afternoon here on Revolution Radio. I am Stephen Roberts, and this is Cancel the Cabal. I had a little bit of a technical glitch there for a couple minutes. For a minute there anyways. I wasn't sure what was going on. I lost the studio and couldn't get it back, but we did finally connect. Today, I'm going in a little bit of a different direction. I'm trying to expand the horizon, so to speak, on some of the material that I've been going after. I know a lot of times I'll get corruption exposing guests on, but today I have what is most assuredly kind of characterized as a life coach, intuitive life coach, actually. I have Jessica Alstrom. Jessica has a background in quantum physics, biochemistry, human nutrition, psychology, quantum hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming. Ooh, that's right up our alley on Revolution Radio, and energy medicine. Her greatest attribute is her ability to guide, heal, coach people through their own healing journey to uncover their true purpose and highest joy. I want to welcome Jessica Alstrom to the show.
Thank you. How you doing, Stephen?
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of hanging in there, actually. I've gotten connected to at least 3 or 4 people just like you, and I need all kinds of help, whether it's intuitive healing or physical healing or life coaching. I know that may sound a little weird to a lot of people, but people think I'm a big extrovert, but I'm not really.
Yeah, well, I have those moments too. I think we all have those moments where we put ourselves out there because it's kind of our mission here, and then we like our solitude, which is, it's all good either way you look at it.
Certainly. What I guess the first question is, the first thing I probably should ask is, how can everybody get a hold of you or contact you, or what type of websites do you have?
You can definitely check out our website. It's www.transcendencekc.com. And all of our information is on there. What we do is a little bit unique. We're kind of on the cutting edge of, science meets spirituality, and we're trying to bring wellness centers to the United States that not necessarily, band-aid or numb the problem, but find the underlying root cause of suffering, physical pain, chemical pain, and disease. So we're definitely on a mission. You can check our mission out on that website, or you can just look us up, Transcendence Wellness Center, on Facebook. We're really proactive with the social media, and so yeah, you definitely can check us out there. Yeah,
the little chat before, I'm pretty sure now that I connected with you on Facebook, and I went to the LinkedIn, I went to your LinkedIn profile, and we're not even connected yet, so I guess we're gonna have to do that somehow.
Yeah, this is divine. We're supposed to be doing this today.
Possibly, but As I mentioned just a minute ago, Jessica, I've also neglected to tell you or Susie or anyone else in your group that I've had rheumatoid arthritis for going on 24 years now, and
Okay.
don't really know. Doctors allegedly don't really know how people get it, but I've got my theories on that, and other people do also. But I don't know. I have just a totally wrecked up body, and I'm trying to keep my mind from going insane, and that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to seek other types of healing with
Yeah.
connecting with you and others.
Well, you definitely have an expert on the show then today because we work with what you're dealing with every day here. We just look at it from a different perspective. Doctors are amazing for what they do, and they are basically going through a very long period of school to find the disease, the problem, and they are basically trained for crisis mode. And they need to label everything. And in order to label everything, they have to diagnose everything. And, from my background, I look at it from more of a holistic perspective, that mind, body, soul. And our mind has a big effect on our bodies. Um, and when I teach that the mind is the biography of the body. So what's going on in the body is represented in the mind, and we can look at you from that multi-dimensional aspect of, you're not just a physical body. You have a soul and you have a mind, and all three of those things need to be aligned for you to have health. And sometimes when we have a lot of stress, rheumatoid arthritis is basically a result of a shot nervous system. So we would need to be looking at the nervous system instead of what, the doctors would look at as far as like joints and things like that, because we have to go to the central command system, which is the nervous system. The nervous system is like your supercomputer's hard drive. And, when we have PTSD, we have stress, we have fight or flight running our entire lives from childhood, it's pretty easy to zap out that nervous system. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I'm sorry. I wanted to bring up just another short story. I was picked on and bullied as a boy from the age of 8, well, up until I graduated school, for a full 10 years. Mercilessly picked on it and bullied for my looks, actually, for what I've been told.
Kids are mean, aren't they?
Oh, certainly. But I don't know, more traumatized than a lot of people probably. It's really surprising that if I could have gotten a hold of a weapon way back then, I might be in jail right now. I don't know, to tell you the truth. But that never happened, and luckily.
But you've carried that emotional scarring your whole life.
Certainly.
And the thing about biochemistry we need to understand is that everything that happens to you happens to your body, and your cell carries a memory of that. And we were just talking about the nervous system. This rheumatoid arthritis could really be carried back to that time because that was really traumatic for you.
It took about a full 10 years. Actually, probably, I think I graduated high school in 1982, and in 1985, I was in a car accident. It wasn't really a horrible accident, but it seems after the fact I had whiplash for about 6 months.
Mm.
But I was into the bodybuilding scene way back in the 80s there, the early 80s, mid 80s and that, and just after the accident, I don't think it was any coincidence or anything, Jessica, but within 2 or 3 weeks after the accident, I noticed that my joints, my arms and my legs would collapse on me. I would lose muscle strength and my joints would collapse.
Mm-hmm.
And this went on for months and months and months, and I finally had to stop doing the lifting. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
And then it took about another 6 years after that until I got just the symptomatic the overload, and just basically overnight got hit with the RA.
Mm-hmm. It feels like that. It feels like overnight, and disease sometimes feels like it happens. But see, the thing is nothing like that is overnight. It's a very long, drawn out process in the body, and the body's giving us symptoms all along the way. We're just really good at ignoring them or medicating them. So
Definitely.
RA could start with, it could start with just a little bit of back pain. It could start with, problems in our knees or our joints. It could start with headaches. It could start with any kind of symptom that the body is saying, hey, look, there's something going on here. We really need to pay attention to. And when we neglect those symptoms, they turn into disease, which is basically just dis-ease. It's a body that's no longer at ease and it is not working properly. So I think we give way too much fear to disease because our body's literally been trying to tell us all along what's going on. And I will tell you, just from an intuitive perspective, I kind of want to share my story a little bit just so people understand where I'm coming from, because I went through a lot of abuse as a child myself.
Absolutely.
And so I really have, this is why I actually got into this work, is because I was suffering just emotionally, physically, on all levels. And we have to realize that the body gets traumatized three ways: emotionally, chemically, and physically. We can be a product of not good nutrition when we're younger. We can be a product of, a lot of fear-based parenting. We can be a product of, physical pain, like, car accidents and sports and all these different things. And these things actually create trauma in the nervous system. And it's kind of slowly starts to create that gut check reaction of fight or flight. And then anything that, and you'll look at it and it's just kind of like the domino effect. You'll get, first you've got the emotional problems, and then the physical problems come, and then the disease follows. So the disease never just, we wake up one day with a disease. And some people would like to maybe argue against that. But from my perspective, who I am is, I was the abused kid in all different ways: physically, emotionally, all of the different ways that children should not be abused. And I was obese. I was a seriously obese for in my early childhood. I wasn't like
Same
to the
here.
point where I couldn't leave the house or anything, but I was bigger than everyone else. And when you're a child, that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that, and I struggled with a very kind of psychotic household. Where there was a lot of abuse and moving around. We were extremely living in poverty, and we didn't have access to a lot of things. So basically, it was like a household full of survival. And it was just, our house was just filled with fear. And I carry you. The thing is we think we grow up, but we don't. We take all of this with us, and this is who we become. And we always want to do better than the way that our parents did for us, and we want to have things that we didn't have. But we're taking the essence of all of this trauma with us. And through that, I had lots of health issues into my teens and 20s. I had a daughter very early. I had a daughter when I was 20, which was kind of me repeating the cycles of my household. And I was clinically depressed, numb. It was horrible. And by the time I got to the age of 30, I literally had a breakdown. And it was kind of like breakdown, breakthrough, because in that moment I decided, okay, am I going to medicate and just live here so that I can be here for my kids, or what do I want to do? And what I realized is that I realized what a product of unhealing parents I came from. And I thought, well, what if I, what if I try to learn and heal myself? Because again, I had nutrition training. I'm a total science geek when it comes to quantum physics and understanding the universe, but also biochemistry and how all of that affects the body. And so I knew all of this, but I wasn't putting any of this work into my own life. I was off teaching other people, which teachers are pretty good at, and I wasn't really using any of this information. And I decided I needed a fresh start, and basically left my entire codependent the dysfunctional family, and moved 2,000 miles away to Kansas City where I had no one. And I did this as a single mom with 3 little girls. We didn't have anything when we came here, but we needed to start over. I needed to heal. I needed to figure out who the heck I was, because I didn't know who I was in that life. And I really didn't care for myself. I didn't love myself. And that's kind of where my journey started. It was kind of like self-discovery, and let me see if I can heal. And so this process that I've been on for about the last 10 years is becoming, I never planned on being a teacher. I never really asked for intuitive abilities. I really just wanted to help myself first and then help others. And I wanted to be a good parent. It wasn't, I wanted to, own this big wellness center, and I really didn't even need that when I first started. I wanted to experience what happiness felt like. And I know people out there can relate to that, because when you really look at life, it's more of just survival than joy. And I was tired of feeling that way. I wanted to be a good mom for my kids, and I wanted to be healthy.
Oh.
And so I went on a crazy long journey, and through that, really kind of was able to tap into the physical body, and in training and learning to meditate, and doing my childhood regression work on myself, I became a medical intuitive, and that changed my whole career.
I have to, well, a couple comments here first. I think I can mirror just about the entire life what you've had.
There's a reason why we met, right?
Yeah, very, very possibly. I've been severely overweight since the age of 8. I am currently probably 100 pounds more than what I want to be. I have been at 360 pounds. 5'11", 360, but that's quite huge. I'm not quite that big right now. I'm at that probably 260, but I still need to get that 100 pounds off. I had a horrible stutter when I was from the age of 8 until 18. I got out of high school in that, but every once in a while it still rears its ugly little head, and whenever I get in a nerve-wracking situation or something. But
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I look at weight intuitively now, it's all about protection. Our bodies really do love us so much, and we are usually at war with our bodies. And we have to realize that our body is doing exactly what we tell it to do. It's doing the best it can to survive. But if you've been in an environment like me and you, where for a lot of our early years we weren't safe, then the body is going to give us whatever it needs to cope with our circumstances. So weight is a byproduct of us needing protection. And so if you look at that, it's exactly what it is, and it's not doing it, our bodies are not, even down to the cravings we have, it's all psychological. This is an emotional journey. And when we are constantly needing to protect ourselves, our body will stop at nothing to do that.
Certainly.
Does that make sense?
Sure it does. I've been told by psychologists and other people that, well, I've had little flashes in my youth. I haven't had any for a long, long time, but I suspect there might have been some kind of a sexual abuse when I was a child, and
yeah, unfortunately, that's a lot of us. Mm-hmm.
I've been told that the reason I overeat and the reason I am overweight is to psychologically repel these
perpetrators. Yeah.
Perpetrators, yeah.
Well, we're all. I mean, that's the thing, is we're all kind of psychologically protecting ourselves, and whether it's just so that people won't notice us or they'll reject us, whatever the case would be, the intention behind the weight is still good. Because again, when we judge ourselves, it actually makes our journey a lot harder. If you could look at your body and just go, wow, okay, so I've had a really long life. I've got a lot of fight or flight going. My nervous system is shot. My body is very stressed out. And I'm carrying this weight because I am emotionally exhausted. It's like, let us just be with that for a little bit. instead of kind of running and trying to get on diets and fix. It's like you cannot fix anything unless you find the underlying root cause of it. Otherwise, you're just band-aiding a symptom. And I will tell you, I've tried every diet on the planet, and before I healed this, I could lose 50 and then I'd gain 100. You know how that yo-yo works.
Yes, I do.
So until I actually said, okay, so I know that this weight is an emotional issue. And until I finally went and looked at it from that perspective and did the work that I needed to do to heal that. I mean, basically, it's like when I look at the subconscious mind, all it is our wounded inner child. And our wounded inner child is still very, very much in sync with all the traumatic times it has experienced, and it reflects in the now. And so that's kind of where, like, we would notice self-sabotage happening. Like, why do I keep doing that?
Yeah.
It's almost like your subconscious mind is about 95% of your point of attraction.
Yeah.
So unless we really clean that, we're going to have a life that looks like a yo-yo.
Exactly. I've sabotaged every single relationship I've ever had. Just
right.
killed them all.
Isn't it? And I can guarantee you, if you and I did a private session, in 1 hour, I would have the root cause for you. We would have the root cause together. Because I'm already listening to you and I'm putting the puzzle pieces together because you and I are very similar. And you know what? You and I are a lot like a lot of other people out there. And just because maybe other people didn't experience weight, you know, some of the friends that I had, they had chronic migraines growing up or chronic pain growing up. Or, you know, a big one that's coming now is fibromyalgia and thyroid disease. And these are all manifestations of emotional trauma.
Yeah.
And the reason that I can say that with so much confidence is because I can see it in the body.
Yeah. The way I understand it about fibromyalgia, I think that's just a diagnosis that somebody put a name on.
Well, isn't all of them that way?
Yeah. Doctors
we got to call it something.
Yeah. Doctors really don't even know what that is yet. They haven't got the research or the study yet. They just call it that because the muscles.
Let's look at what it is, just scientifically and biochemically. Fibromyalgia is a byproduct of an immune system that is repelling itself, and the nervous system is so severely damaged that the pain centers are out of control. And so if we look at what the nervous system's job is the nervous system's job is to, heal our bodies and be that army for us. But here's the thing is when we become our own enemy, when we hate ourselves or when we judge ourselves or when we, take the burden and the responsibility of everybody's life onto ours, when we become that, doormat and that rescuer and we completely remove our self-care and our self-love, our immune system literally begins to attack itself. And that's where allergies come from. That's where, allergies come from other issues too. I'm not saying pollen is not, a problem, but I'm saying that the emotional cause of these diseases, especially related to the immune system, is you are attacking you or you are not caring about you. There's not enough self-love and care going on, and the body begins to kind of short out and the immune system begins to attack itself. And that's what autoimmune disease is.
Okay, yeah, that's what I've been told by others on some, certain diseases. I guess maybe most of them that there really is no such thing called disease. It's all a underlying problem, whether it's a psychological.
It's all, yeah. It's just a big. It's a big symptom. I look at it as kind of like, It's almost like your body's like a car, and your car starts to make little noises, and things start to happen slowly with the car, and then all of a sudden that check engine light comes on, and if you're like me when you're 16, I just would like put duct tape over that so I didn't have to see it. It's like band-aiding the problem.
Right.
Like, I don't want to see that right now. And that's what we do. It's like we get a little pain, we run to the doctor, and we get on a medication. But what we don't realize is that every medication that we put ourselves it's basically serving double duty. It's working on keeping you from feeling a symptom, but it's working systematically, so it's affecting other parts of the body. And we don't realize how toxic some of these medicines can be on our livers and our
Absolutely.
pancreas. And,
Yeah.
and again, the doctors are not trained in really following that, and it's not their fault, there's just not that training for them yet where they can kind of follow the thread of what actually happens besides cleaning up the symptom.
Wow.
Because there's a residue that is left behind by medication, and that's why usually you got to go get liver checks when you're on heavy medications, and so you know it's doing something to your liver.
Yeah, absolutely. Jessica, now in the past 20 plus years, doctors aren't really, they've been trained to diagnose and prescribe a drug more than to try to help somebody or heal someone.
Well, and again, I'm always going to play the positive. Anytime you have me on my show, I'm always going to find the positive. That's who I am. Doctors usually have the intention when they go to medical school to heal and to serve. And I think that when you get into that world and you spend all of that time in medical school, a lot of times your focus changes and you lose it because you feel like you're one person, and how are you really going to save the world? And well, at least this medicine is available.
Yeah.
And they aren't. I work with a ton of doctors, and their intentions are always usually good. They're just not. They don't understand energy. They don't understand emotion. They don't understand chemical toxicity. They're looking, for me, I've had someone come in to me and say, I have Lyme's disease. And I do an intuitive reading with them, and I look and I see they've got tons and tons of mercury fillings in their mouth.
Yes.
And I know that those mercury's fillings that are dripping that toxic that toxic stuff in the body, and that will be the exact same symptom as Lyme's disease.
Or lead pipes in their house or something like that. And,
exactly, or exposure to chemicals, anything. But again, I'm seeing a lot of this Lyme's disease, and yes, sometimes it's Lyme's disease and sometimes it's mercury toxicity. But the doctor is not going to check you for heavy metals. The doctor is going to check you for Lyme's disease, and it's going to look at a lab reading, and it's going to look at a number, and it's going to tell you have a disease. So that's where to me, it's like, I think science is amazing, and we have so much access to information that we really should be more diligent in our diagnosis.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to make another quick comment too, Jessica. A little bit earlier, you mentioned that you started your journey at the age of 30, and I've got your profile picture up on my video screen, and I thought you were 30.
No, that's a healthy living. I'll be 40 this year. I'll be 40.
Okay.
So this journey has been fast and furious, I will tell you. It's like once I really, and I will say this, and it may sound kind of, cliche, but it was that moment when I kind of fell to my knees and said, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't even know who I am. And it was almost like then I just kind of felt like, nobody physically showed up for me, but I really felt like I was guided to the right information, and I was guided to the right people, and, I was guided towards meditation. And meditation, to me, is what healed my nervous system. Because I had exactly the same issues that you had. I had the stutter. I was so introverted I couldn't talk in public.
Yep.
It was just a combination of just, abuse at home and then abuse at school. And then, it's like we go through it, and it's like, how much can we take? But see, the thing is our bodies are designed to heal. They are. And if we can put ourselves into it, we can get ourselves out of it. And we just have to we have to care about ourselves. We have to care about the way we feel. And in doing that, we have to kind of become private investigators and stop taking a doctor's word for who we are. They don't know what our childhood was like.
That's right.
They don't know what emotional scars that, they can't see with their instruments. And they don't realize that emotion, energy in motion, energy, like Einstein says, energy doesn't die, it changes forms.
Certainly.
And so whenever I look at someone who has cancer in their body, it is always about like some sort of crystallization of anger. That is like they were not heard, they were not nurtured, they were not loved, and it's like this, and it is like this crystallization of this impacted emotion in some sort place of their body. And again, even where it is in the body tells me where. So if it's like breast cancer, I know there was a lack of nurturing going on there. So again, we don't need doctors, we need to be more aware.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I know a lot of doctors, you know, you might actually characterize them as being brainwashed. They've been told, like I mentioned earlier, for the last 20+ years, that only a drug can help can actually heal somebody or cure something, and that's
Well,
absolutely false, I think.
it's completely false. And with the new age of information, I mean, we have the internet. You can learn how to do anything on the planet on YouTube.
Certainly, you can Google
So
anything,
for a
can't you?
doctor to still be that ignorant, then I feel sorry for that doctor.
Yeah.
Because again, and again, playing devil's advocate on the positive side, we are starting to see Reiki energy medicine now in hospitals. We are seeing, they're teaching meditation at Yale University. They're teaching mindfulness. The shift is happening. We are becoming more aware. We are becoming more self-focused in healing ourselves. But as individuals, we cannot blame our doctors
Right.
because we are the ones who run to our doctors. So we're saying, wait, just like we are with our government, hey, you're supposed to have all the answers for me. What we really need to say is, well, what is true for me? Go get a diagnosis and then go get 3 different ones. Go see a doctor, a chiropractor, a naturopath, a psychic, and then come and talk to me. Because it's only when you really have a lot of information can you make an educated decision.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. Um, well, you know, the mind. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemies, as far as trying to heal in the mind. You did mention that physical things can heal, but do you think the mind is the hardest thing to heal?
No,
No.
that's all of my business, and I will tell you that kind of is a perfect introduction to what I do here in Kansas City. I know that the body will heal once the mind is well, so I don't have to worry about the body so much in the practice that I have. I have developed a wellness center that is based in awareness and healing of the mind and subconscious and the childhood, and because that is where the root cause of all suffering is. Some people may disagree with that, but I've been doing this for 10 years, not only on myself, but for thousands of people. And when you try to treat something with nutrition or a drug, it comes back. But when you go in and you clean up the old patterns of the emotional trauma and you heal the PTSD, which is very, very possible, and you correct the nervous system and you heal the baggage that inner child is carrying, the body just becomes so at ease and that immune system clicks on and starts to heal things that you never thought you could heal from.
Are well, we mentioned neuro-linguistic programming. Are you basically reprogramming people to think correctly, or
I don't like that term,
no?
reprogramming. I mean, it's a fair statement, but to me, I think everything is about unlearning.
Sure.
It's like when we're a child, we're told what our name is, what our religion needs to be, how
Right.
we need to act,
Right.
what we need to do, and none of it comes from our authentic self. It's all just, if you want love and sport, you need to be this person. And we have this inner conflict with ourselves our entire life about who we want to be versus who we should be. And that conflict is where the trauma begins. It's kind of like you've heard, don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about. Money
Yes.
doesn't grow on trees. Who do you
Yes.
think you are? All of these things,
Yeah.
this is where the programming happens.
Sure.
And we are like a supercomputer. Our bodies are very much like a computer. And we are downloading that app of money doesn't grow on trees. And we're downloading that app of, you're no good. And the thing is our emotions are like our GPS system to let us know how we're doing. And we are taught from a very early age not to feel because that's weak.
Well, Jessica, I just had to add something there. You just well, the thing I remember from childhood is the people that claim to love me the most are the ones that hurt me the most emotionally.
Absolutely. And talk about losing trust.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is like we are here thinking, okay, we're going to be loved and protected, and we usually get the opposite of that. And so we go our whole lives thinking that that's the way life is. When is the other shoe going to drop? When's the rug going to get pulled out from under me? And that's why we don't follow our dreams. because we think if we were actually to attain it, it would be ripped from us, because that's been the product of how everything has been for us. Like
Yes.
you said, the people who are supposed to love us the most are the ones who abuse us.
Yeah. The most and the worst.
But the thing is we don't want to stay victimized by this. Because we could just talk for another 48, 72 hours about, how horrible it is. But I can guarantee you, people who even think that their childhood was great, they've got some trauma. Because just think about it. Because I have 4 kids, and I have a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 4-year-old. Or I'm sorry, a 2-year-old. Sorry, I jumped ahead there. He's 2. And, to him, in his mind, his toys, his cookie, his juice cup, his belongings are just as valuable to him and necessary for his survival as my car and house are to me. And so when a child has something taken away from them or doesn't get what they need at a very young age, and it's really between the ages of 1 or birth and 7 where the most damage is done, just because of the way the brain waves are. They're in a real natural theta state where they're like really sponge-like. And when a child is abused in those 7 years, it really crystallizes the trauma very heavy for the rest of the life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and I look at my son, and someone takes his cookie away, and he falls on the ground and he starts screaming, and that would be equivalent to someone stealing my car, because in the mind of a child, that's his world.
Yes.
And we downplay children. We think, oh, they're just children. No. They are souls just as old as our souls. They're wanting to have an amazing life just the way we do. And I think that's why I do a lot of conscious parenting classes. I do a lot of, removing fear from parenting classes, because again, we by default basically repeat patterns that our families, because that's how we learn. And we learn by observing.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I wanted to add also that my parents divorced. I think about the age of 7, but there was problems in the home for quite a few years before they divorced at the age of 7, and then my mother met another man at the age of 8, mysteriously.
Yeah, right.
Or-
It all happens at 8.
Yeah, it did.
Tell you, it's just
It
7-year
did.
cycles.
It did. Yeah. I actually have heard that a 7-year cycle, that a child can be damaged the most in those first 7 years, and then they start to become aware of themselves at the age of 14, and I've heard that the brain doesn't actually quit developing until like the age of 23 or 24, somewhere in there.
Right. Yeah, because it's getting its patterns. It's creating those neural pathways to become who that child is. And the thing is the subconscious mind is such a powerful learning tool, that it is recording from the day you were conceived.
Certainly.
It records everything, and the brain does not know the difference between reality and imagination. That's why you can respond from a horror movie. That's why you can respond if you see a spider across the room, because your body is having that physical sensation of seeing something, even though it's not physically happening to you. So we have to realize how important our subconscious mind and our neural pathways are in who we've become. And that's where a lot of the self-sabotage and the self-abusive behavior comes in later in life, is because first we were abused, and then we abuse others, or if we don't do that, we abuse ourselves, and that's always the pattern. I mean, just like carrying weight, that's self-abuse. Carrying 100 pounds overweight is not good for the physical body. We don't realize it, but we're self-abusing.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but that's just the pattern we learned.
it is.
And that's in our neural pathways. I do a big workshop about this actually at our wellness center, and I remind people that the once the brain learns something, it doesn't need you to teach it again, and it will do it even if you're not aware of that it's doing it. Kind of like a runner who is a marathon runner. Their body is so acclimated to running that they could literally just wake up in the morning and look at their running shoes, and their body would start getting ready for the run. So imagine abuse. Our body is constantly getting ready for abuse, no matter what. And so that's where that kind of and I won't even call it psychotic, but that misemotion, that what's wrong with me? Why do I keep doing this? Acting as we're a product of basically being in fight or flight our entire lives, where now it's become on a glitch.
Yeah, yeah. And Albert Einstein is attributed to have had this quote, and he said, "Insanity is someone doing something over and over again and expecting a different result."
Right? Because you're only going to behave based off of what's in your subconscious mind. It's like, if you ever want to know what's really hiding in your subconscious mind, look at your behavior, especially when you're alone.
Certainly.
Because your behavior is basically coming from that unconscious state of, I already know how to do this. Thanks. I can tie my shoes. I can drive my car. I mean, how many times have you driven home
I can walk
and
to
you
the
weren't drunk
refrigerator and eat.
and you drove yourself home and don't remember how you got there?
Yes. Yes.
Your body's like, yes, I know how to get you home.
I can walk to the refrigerator and get something to eat.
Right. But we don't realize, we don't give our bodies enough credit of how much they're listening to us and how much they listen to every thought. Self-talk, very important. It's like a conversation with your cells. And all the other things that thoughts do. I mean, that's a whole nother show for you and I, because I can talk for about 8 hours about quantum physics. But this is more of that kind of this is kind of like physics meets biochem. What we're talking about here.
That's a bit of an odd question, or a bit of an odd subject there, Jessica. Quantum physics and that kind of thing isn't really a girly thing. How did you have to get into that?
Since I was like 4 years old, I was that kid who was just like, why, probably really annoying.
Oh yeah.
And that perpetual question asked, and things didn't add up to me. When people would say something, things didn't add up to me, and I was always that student. I was always like investigating things, and for me, I've always been kind of aware, even though I didn't realize I was aware. And so a lot of times I kind of felt like the parent at my house, because I would see things happen cruel, and I don't understand cruelty. I don't understand a lot of things that are happening in the world. It just doesn't resonate with me. And so for a lot of my life, I kind of felt like the grown-up.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember I think I was reading some, self-help book back in the day, and they had mentioned quantum physics. And I quickly enrolled in classes because I wanted to know all there was. And when I realized that thought creates matter, everything changed. It was a game changer. Because then I thought, well, if I can change matter by changing what's in my mind, then I don't have to spend so much time trying to work hard and be the perfect person. I just need to go back in, heal myself, clean up my thoughts, align myself with who I am. And I'm going to tell you, that's exactly what I've done. And also, Bruce Lipton's work, and he studies, he teaches epigenetics, and I've studied all of his work, but I've also studied it from an intuitive perspective. And so I know that we are in charge of the health of our bodies, but if we don't get a healthy mind, then our bodies will always be the result of that.
I don't want to stereotype you or anything, or
it's okay. Go ahead.
Or anything
I'm
like
fine
that.
with
I didn't mean anything with the girly.
No. I love it. I mean, I think that it just, to me, it's like we should all know what quantum physics is. It's the study of matter. It's a study of quantum means all. So it's kind of like, how is this all happening? To me, that's kind of what quantum physics is. It's not like some really geeked out brain person. It's just, I want to know how things work. And I want to know, when things don't add up, I want to find the underlying cause. And that's why I love studying biochemistry.
I'm sorry. Have you ever been accused of being a new age type?
Yeah.
Have you?
Oh, sure. For sure. And you know what? I think that it's about time that we start looking at a different perspective, because what we've really moved, as far as what we've believed in the past, really hasn't worked for us, has it?
Not at all. Not at all. There's a.
I think the New Age movement it can be judged and it can be used. It's kind of like, I'm sorry, but law of attraction is just about as real as law of gravity. You just have to understand how it works.
Yeah.
It's like, and this is not spirituality. This is physics.
Certainly. I think we are all supposed to be spiritual beings, but
Well, we are
whether
spiritual
it's,
beings. We're not
yeah.
supposed to be. We're
Well,
having a human experience.
yes, but a lot of people are apparently not on the same program. But people, people are people. They
Yeah, everybody's allowed to believe whatever they want. That's the beauty of free will.
yeah.
And that's why, when I opened my center, so basically what I teach at my center and the services that we offer at my center, Transcendence, is basically how to transcend from that small, unhealed version of yourself into the empowered state of bliss and unlimited human potential. And that's what we do. So we do a ton of education. I would say that my wellness center is about 90% education on, how to heal your emotional past, how to work through triggers, how to heal the physical body naturally by understanding first and foremost how it works and what it needs. We do conscious parenting classes, and we teach meditation. And meditation to me is not a new age movement. Meditation is creating stillness in an overactive mind. And if we never get our minds quiet, then we don't ever have that opportunity to reset the mind.
Well,
it's almost like we need a reset point. It's like unplugging your computer at night.
yeah, people have been meditating for millennia.
Since the beginning of time.
Exactly.
But again, it can get caught up in that, oh, I'm sorry, that kind of new age thing. But again, it's like, look how popular yoga is now, And if you look at the basis of yoga, it's a very intense spiritual practice.
Yes, it absolutely is. We have about 9 minutes left until the break here. We've got a break coming up at the hour, but I was wondering how much do you have to spend physical time with somebody to help them, or can
No.
you do it over?
I do. I have hand trained several people on my staff to do what I do because again, we can all do this. And my job is here's the difference between a life coach and a counselor. And if you're a counselor, you're amazing, and I'm not, saying anything negative about it. But from my perspective, again, root cause, a counselor's job is to kind of help you with your life and cope with your past. And a life coach is exactly that. Like, what does a coach do? A coach is going to first and foremost look at where you shine and really, really get that really built high. And then the things where you're weak, heal those, and then train those to become just as good as the other parts of you. So a life coach is basically taking the trauma of your past and teaching you how to use that as a form of empowerment. And that's why, to me, we need to move out of life as victims. We can spend our entire lives complaining about the government. We can complain about our parents. We can complain about what is wrong and unjust with this planet. Or we can start looking within and taking responsibility for who we want to be and healing ourselves and then teaching other people how to do that. Don't you think that that's how the world is going to change?
Probably so. So many people do want to blame someone else for their own dealings or their own doings.
Well, and it's easier because then they don't have to look in the mirror.
That's right. But actually, what I meant a couple minutes ago was, can you help some? Well, you're in Kansas City, but I'm 2 hours outside of Chicago. I'm in the Southwest Lower Michigan.
I do Skype all the time.
Oh yeah,
I do Skype all over the planet. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be in Kansas City. We're even going to start doing live streaming of all of our workshops and recordings because I teach about every subject there is.
Yeah.
And most of them I just do for free because I want the education out there. And the private clients that I work with, we do Skype. Yeah, we do Skype. We do phone. I could literally, we could go to commercial and you and I could do some work together real quick.
Well,
it's not difficult.
Unfortunately, we would have to hang up and start a different call to do that.
Right.
The studio is still live once we go to commercial, but
I got you. Okay.
yeah.
But yeah,
anyways.
no, it doesn't need to be face to face at all. No.
Okay. Well, because I could probably spend a week in Kansas City.
Always for sure.
Is that on the Missouri side or the Kansas side?
Or the Kansas side, yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of good barbecue places.
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
yeah. Coming from LA, that was a nice change.
Yeah.
But I spent pretty much the first 30 years of my life at LA, and then I've been here, about 7 years now here. I'm another 7-year cycle, and I was called, I was urged, I think, through just what collective consciousness needs is, we need help. We need help feeling our way through all this. This is not something that I think that you could really do alone easily. Not that you can't, because I did it, but I'm kind of one of those scientific freaks that's not going to rest unless I get, through. Yeah, I'm not going to rest until it's healed.
Yeah.
Like I won't sleep for days until I figure out what the underlying root cause of something is. But what I think my center is it's someone holding your hand on your journey. It's someone reminding you of who you are. It's someone who's teaching you of how much power and ability that you have within you to heal, and then just giving you tools. Because I think that a lot of these self-help books and the book The Secret and all these things are fantastic, but there's no tools. It's like, okay, great. How do I manifest $1 million? How do I manifest my gas bill being paid?
Yeah.
Well, you have to understand physics. You have to understand your biochemistry. You have to understand that you are electromagnetic energy and you are pulsing out a signal to the universe. And so if you're pulsing out the signal, I'm a victim, then you keep getting victimized.
Certainly. Yeah. Do you think that's part of the aura? Do you think people can pick up on that type of thing just without even knowing it?
An aura is basically a collective of information storage. So it's kind of like your aura is the combination of the essence of who you are. So when I see an aura, it's kind of like I can see your gifts, your traumas, your natural abilities, your strength. Just to me, it's kind of like looking at someone's data sheet.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I'm just trying to think here. With the 5 minutes we have before the break, I could actually take some pictures and send them to you of my twisted up joints. I just wonder if people still to this day. I'll be 51 here in just a couple of weeks, and I still get. I'm still getting bullied and picked on, but I deal with it differently now. That's for sure. But I think people
you'll keep attracting it until you heal it.
Yeah.
And you might be handling it differently because you're in a more grown-up body now, but your inner child's not. Your inner child's still suffering.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's work on that together.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. If you look at your body, you don't want to judge it. You want to say, wow, you have survived a lot for me. And you have been holding on a lot of emotional trauma in here. And you know what? When I'm ready, I'm going to release it. And I'm not talking about, a ton of work. It's baby steps. Baby steps can change your life drastically. Just the way you look at your body can change everything. If you just stop judging yourself so horrifically on what is wrong with it and start focusing on what was right with it, that's quantum physics right there. What you focus on gets bigger.
Okay. Well, there's always been the saying out there that if you can imagine it, you can make it happen.
Right. Unfortunately, a lot of us are not imagining very good things, are we?
No, we're not.
See, that's
a lot
the power
of poor.
focus. You've got to learn to focus.
A lot of us are
on
poor.
what you want, not what you don't want.
That's right. A lot of us are poor and almost destitute. I've been on federal disability for SSI for over 12 years now, and that $1,600 a month just doesn't get it sometimes.
Right. Well, again, I'll go into the new age movement and talk about money, because money is actually one of the easier things to manifest.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I say that because think about it, money doesn't have a personality. So it's not like you're worrying about like manifesting a soulmate or the right job with the right people. It's like money is just energy, and what money resembles, what money is the symbolic form of on this planet is value. So when you have been devalued as a child, then you don't have a lot of value in your subconscious mind, and therefore money repels itself from you.
Okay.
See how simple that is?
Sure.
So we don't work on getting you more money. We get you on raising your value, and then your point of attraction, you become more magnetic towards money.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you that's exactly what happened for me.
I guess I can still explain it after the break here. you kind of wanted to know a little bit of something about me, and I can share that story
Yeah,
after
I'd
the
love
break
for
here. But
to hear how you got into all this.
yeah, and there's my music there, Jessica. So
Okay.
we shall be right back, everyone, in about 7 minutes. And welcome back to Cancel the Cabal on Revolution Radio, and I'm also on PSN Radio, thanks to Angel Espino. I wanted to mention, just like one of the promos there did happen to say, that we are listener supported here at Revolution Radio. So if you like what we're doing, please go hit that donate button. The stations and the streams do take money to get the message out there. So I want to please tell everyone, go hit the donate button. All right, we're going to continue on. Do I have you back now, Jessica?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, that was a good long break there. About 7.5 minutes, somewhere in there. Somebody needs to go do something at the break is when they should do it.
Right.
I think I could go into my story a little bit. My dad, well, my dad will listen to AM talk radio when I was a young boy. Basically, there was nothing but AM in my area. I do understand that there was FM stations in existence and FM radio, but they just hadn't gotten around to my area until I was in my later teens in that. But I would also listen to the AM talk radio when I was a boy too, because he listened to it. And I always imagined myself. I always dreamt of being a talk radio show host when I was a boy. I kind of maybe psychologically imagined that it would take a lot of courage or a lot of confidence to be a talk radio show host, but I still consider myself an introvert, and I know that's kind of false, but kind of a false illusion there, but I'm kind of living my dream, so to speak, Jessica, and I'd really like to break into FM or AM someday, what's called the terrestrial radio. But
Yep.
that's a little bit of my story. I can go in and explain some more after you make some comments or something.
Well, that's awesome that you ended up doing exactly what you wanted to do. Not a lot of people get to say that.
Yes, it is. Yeah. You
How many
asked
people
me,
are actually living their dream right now?
Yeah. I guess what actually got me into this internet radio was I had taken care of my dad the last 10 years of his life. We had spent a lot of time away from each other. He actually lived over in Wichita, Kansas for a while, and I spent about 6 months over there right after high school, and then I came back to Michigan and lived here, and then he lived out there for quite a few years, and then he finally moved back in this area, and we kind of connected back together. But after he died, in August of 2008, I don't know what in the world hit my brain. Some people might call it fate or kismet or whatever kind of adjective one might put on it, Jessica. But I got the notion to go back to school. I looked into online college, and I enrolled at the University of Phoenix Online College. Started taking some courses. I originally enrolled in the IT field, internet technology, but I soon realized I was in over my head.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a computer programmer, because that's basically what the IT field was. I thought I wanted to do some web design or something like that, but I was in over my head, and I switched into communications. Switched my major very, very early, and the communications led me into journalism.
Wow. That's cool.
So instead of doing a lot of writing, I decided to become a internet journalism, internet radio journalist.
Love it. Well, I think what you're doing is so important. I think that the greatest way that we could define love is to be of service. and you and I are taking our time out from our Sunday, and we're having this awesome conversation.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it's like this might help someone, and that makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do on the planet. And I think at the end of the day, the work that you've done, and you've gotten to provide a forum. I always call it a safe place to heal. You've provided that, and you've also been able to kind of do a little bit of your healing by just being in association with that. Plus, I say anytime you face any fear, like you going back to school, or you do something that takes courage, or you do something that, like you said, kismet, outside the box. When we do that, we start to really get to know who we are, and I think that's when life gets fun.
Well, yeah, certainly. I do have to stress also that I'm the type of man that I just can't stand by and idly not do something if
Yeah.
if there's a wrong out there,
Right, you got to do something. I know.
Yeah.
I had the same feeling. Yeah. And I think a lot of us feel that way, and we get overwhelmed because we feel like we're one person. But I like to look at it as the scenario of when you drop a pebble into water. The ripple effects go all the way to the end.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And, I know that if I can help one person, then they're going to go teach 5 other people how we did it. Because I don't ever treat or care for a client without showing them exactly how to do it. And again, that's like a coach. Because again, I don't want to be a counselor that someone comes and sees week after week, and then 10 years down the line I've created codependency. What I want is to go through the healing process with someone and teach them how to do it and how to do self-healing techniques, and then teach them all of these tools and techniques so that they can go and help their families and friends, and then they can go help their families and friends, and it has nothing to do with me at that point. And to me, it's just, I know as a parent, my kids don't hear anything I say, they watch what I do. And my job is to be the example. I've got to walk my talk. I can't be on the radio, and owning a wellness center, and then go home and have all of my, demons and emotional issues be showing. It's like, no, I have to do this for my children so that they can learn how to be happy, healthy, nurtured adults. And it's the same way with our clients. It's like we really want to show them how all of this works. Again, it's that awareness piece. And when they become aware that they've had all the answers inside and they have the ability to heal, and they take a few months to really move within and clean up some things, they're shifting their entire lives. It's not just like, wow, I'm out of physical pain. No, I'm out of physical pain, and now money's starting to show up, and opportunities are starting to show up, and people are starting to be nicer to me, and I'm starting to be nicer to myself. And because again, it's all connected. Everything is connected. The universe is basically on one giant grid, and so you can't do anything without it affecting everything.
Certainly. Yeah, I've got an interesting little story to share with you, Jessica. I've got this friend. Him and his first wife had just one son. They kind of fell apart when he was about that age of 7 or something in there, somewhere around in there, and they stayed together just for him. And he told them about the age of 12 or 13, somewhere in there. He said, "You know what, Mom and Dad? I'm known for quite some time that you two aren't in love anymore. So just why don't
Wise.
why don't you two just get a divorce? It's not going to bother me as much as you think it will."
Yeah.
It's just a funny little story there.
But it's so true, because it's like, people will stay in a marriage because they think, oh my gosh, this is going to tear up my children.
Yeah.
But the children are more in tune with how you feel than what you do,
Yeah.
or what you say. So it's like if mom's crying and suffering and dad's unhappy, it's like, what do you think their childhood's going to be like? But if mom can go get happy and dad can go get happy, and so they might have 2 addresses. But then they get to see a product of 2 different people happy, 2 different examples of happiness. It's like that kid is actually going to be more well balanced, So I agree. I agree with Joy. I'm going to say, do I have any, I've been divorced. And so it's like, I'm definitely not, wanting to be a hypocrite on that. I've evolved, and sometimes we grow apart from people and we want different things, and sometimes when you meet someone young and you become who you're going to be later in life, you no longer fit with those people. I think that's natural. I mean, we grow out of jobs and we've grown out of friends, and at the end of the day, if we're really on the planet to really experience joy, then we need to keep looking and searching for that, and we need to always follow that. And we need to make sure that we have joy in our lives. I asked somebody in my workshop the other day, how much of today was joyful for you? And she said, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And I said, what is the point of life? You know what? Really? It's like, that's so sad to me that people live in the shoulds of instead of what could be, and saying, you know what? I'm not going to work so much. The dishes are still going to be there tomorrow, or this is going to be there, or, I'm going to take some me time, and without feeling guilty for it. Because we have that whole martyr thing going in a lot of people where, that was me, in my 20s and early 30s was, that professional doormat and the martyr, and I was trying to rescue everyone, and really what I needed to do was rescue myself.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what I'm doing, trying to rescue the world.
Yeah, I mean, but again, your intentions are awesome because you know that the world needs rescuing, but there also needs to be that inward journey. It's kind of like you look at the internet and the information highway, but what's going on in the internet of you? The internet is where you have all your answers and where you need your own attention. And we don't call it selfishness. We call it self-focus. Because again, if we don't really take care of ourselves, then we can't really take care of others properly.
Oops, sorry. Yes, I was muted there. Yeah, that's all really good stuff. What are some of the successes that you've had in the last 10 years here?
Oh my goodness. Well, besides my own success story of just healing my entire body, and not just healing the outside, but creating a really, really healthy relationship with my body emotionally, I've pretty much healed my entire childhood trauma process. So I have a great relationship with my family now. I have 4 awesome, healthy, very successful kids. I have a thriving business, and none of this would have been possible from the perspective of a victim. So anybody who comes in, I mean, we've seen cancer heal around here, and I can't say that legally, like I'm responsible for that.
No, you can't.
But I have witnessed that take place with emotional clearing. I have seen, people come back, heal all sorts of body issues, not just diseases, chronic pain, fatigue, migraines. We have seen all of this stuff just go away when the emotional underlying root cause is healed. We've had people leave jobs and become entrepreneurs, again, because we're really big on following dreams here and being healed enough to go pursue those things. And we've had people find soulmates. I mean, there's so many things. It's like anything anybody would want. Usually when someone comes to me, they say, okay, this is where I am, and then way over here is where I want to be. And so my job is to kind of help them get over there. And so what we do is we first look and see what's going on and what needs to be healed, because we don't want to move forward before we heal. We really want to heal, because anything we move forward to, we're bringing ourselves from the past with us. And something I discovered when I moved to Kansas City from California was, I thought as soon as I got off the plane, and I wouldn't have any of that trauma anymore. And what I realized is that you can't outrun yourself.
No, you can't.
You take you wherever you go, and all of your baggage,
Yeah.
and that seeps into your relationships, that seeps into your work, that seeps into your body.
Yeah.
And so really it's about the nurturing, the self-loving, learning how to self-love, and healing all of the, all of the times you were victimized, all the times you weren't loved and nurtured. And again, children need 4 things. They need to be loved, they need to be heard, they need to be seen, and they need to be nurtured.
You know how many times I heard when I was a little boy, children should be seen and not heard?
Well, and look what a byproduct that's created for us adults. And think about it. Think about the people who seem very needy. They're still needing that nurturing. Some people who have those where they always have to talk and they don't have listening abilities, those are children who didn't have a voice.
Yep.
So we're all that perpetual inner child, and what we would call ego today is nothing more than a wounded inner child.
Huh, okay. That's pretty wild. How does, let me get this here. How does, what is human nutrition? Have you been explaining that already, or
Yeah, I mean,
have you?
see, the thing is nutrition and health goes side by side of how you feel about yourself. If you felt real valuable and really like you had great self-worth, you would probably take good care of your body and eat good foods.
Okay.
But when you don't have a lot of value going on, and because you don't have value, you don't have money, then you're going to not eat good foods. So it's all about
Sure.
really self-worth. And so once we get to that point where people are ready to eat good foods, then I teach them about, inexpensive ways that they can eat really clean. So food and cleaning out the body, again, I go back to that car analogy. Just like you need to change your oil in your car, every 5,000 miles, you really need to do, and it doesn't need to be intense, but just a nice cleaning of the body, whether that's through a little fast, whether that's through just alkalizing the system, whether that's doing a very deep cleanse and a detox. We've got to kind of remove the buildup and the junk that is just a byproduct of this kind of crappy food we have these days. And then, what supplements, where are we deficient based on where we live? I know I live in Kansas City, so in the wintertime, I need more D vitamin. So
Ah,
it's just
yes.
kind of figuring out what people need for where they are, both emotionally, physically, and chemically. So that would be what human nutrition would be, where I teach.
Okay, yeah. The sun, of course, is probably the best vitamin D giver that there is. Best
Well, the
source of
sun does a
vitamin D.
lot of things for us
Yeah.
that we have no idea. The
Yeah,
sun
it does.
is is energy, and
It
it
is.
feeds every cell of our body if we can be exposed to it for 10 minutes, before it's in direct impact. If we could just do 10 minutes a day, right when the sun was, maybe right before the sun was at its peak, before it was going to burn us, if we could just do 10 minutes a day,
Yep.
our immune system could stay very strong.
Certainly. Certainly. What do How do you work with NLP, neuro linguistic programming?
Um, I don't even think about it anymore. It's so ingrained in my practice. There's not a specific. See, I just use intuitive communication at this point, which is the same thing as NLP. NLP is a lot like self-talk and how you talk to others and how you get people led back to who they are. So it's
Okay.
kind of like a
Okay.
scientific way to communicate.
Yeah.
And I studied it heavily about 7 years ago, and then it became like breathing to me. So I don't ever have
So,
to refer to any of it anymore. It's just part of who I am.
well, I know for a fact. I don't want to get too conspiratorial here with you, Jessica, but some of the medias of the world, they actually use NLP.
Oh,
Some
okay.
government agencies do too. Even government officials use
Well, of
NLP.
course.
Well,
How else
that's
do you think they get us to do what we're doing? I mean, the thing is with every good side, here's the beauty of this planet. This planet is two sides of a coin. There's heads and there's tails. There's yin
yes,
and there's yang. There's positive and there's negative. And just for, I would use NLP to help someone heal, someone else could use NLP to create the opposite
to break
effect.
someone down. Yeah.
And and let's get into it for a minute. I've been doing hypnosis all forms for a while because again, that's one way that we can get back into that past and heal. And I know that the media uses deep hypnosis brain waves
They do.
and frequency to basically tell us, we're not pretty enough, we're not rich enough, we need this product. Because
Yep.
I can actually feel the frequencies when I'm watching the commercials. I'll we'll be sitting there watching a commercial and it'll be Pizza Hut or something or whatever. I'm not saying any names, and I'm hearing all of this underlying hypnotic information, subliminal information coming through, and I'm going, "Do you hear that?" And the person sitting next to me is going, "I just want pizza now."
Made me hungry. Yeah. Gee,
So
I
it's
wonder
very
why. Yeah.
subtle.
Sure. Sure. Well, subtle to one is just outright
Right.
screaming to another.
I'm just hypersensitive to frequency. So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
really I can see it and I can feel it. So that's why I can't watch commercial television at
Yeah.
all.
Well, I don't either. Not so much
It's
anymore. I haven't had a cable bill in about almost 4 years now. I
Yeah,
haven't had a cable
exactly.
bill. I haven't.
Yep, I don't either.
I
Nope.
gave I gave my 42-inch flat screen TV to my niece You know,
Nice. There you go.
I haven't had TV in about 3.5 years. But anyways, you happened to mention earlier that you kind of knew something was wrong when you was a young girl or whatever. I also knew something was wrong. I just couldn't put my finger on it until I got into college, and
Yeah.
things happened there, whether it was fate or kismet or whatever. It was just before it was just after the Obama's first election is when I started on this quest here. But
Mhm.
I've been doing the internet radio for a little over 2 years now, and I
Well,
don't know. I just couldn't put my finger on it until I got into college, and then just things started coming together.
well, and you were an intuitive kid, but you were just not seen as
Yes.
that. Just like
Well,
I wasn't seen. You were looked at as the one that was different or the black sheep. I like to, I mean, and this could be a negative connotation, but I think it's funny when I think about it. It's kind of like I look at it as three categories. There's sheep, there's sheep herders, and then there's wolves. And you're either a sheep, you're a sheep herder, or you're a wolf. And a lot of people are still sheep. And I mean, I know you and I, we would have done anything to be a sheep. All we wanted to do was fit in. All we wanted to do was,
yes.
have friends and be normal. And instead, maybe we chose from the perspective of God that no, this time you're going to be a sheep herder, which means you have to be different. You have to be the one that kind of has to fall down a lot so that when you pick yourself back up, you know how to lead.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. Um,
So I kind of look at it as cool now. All of that trauma from the past has made me really strong in who I am. And I'm sure you feel the same way in a lot of levels.
I do, yes. I'm trying to think differently, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Um,
Right. Well, and the thing is just with anything, it needs to be nurtured. This work that I teach, it's not like you do it one day and it's done. It's like just like a muscle. If you went to the gym one time, you would not get in good shape. It needs to become behavior. And again, we've been programmed to not be in touch with our feelings, to not honor ourselves, to put other people first, to just all of those old memes that we have grown up with. And so, yeah, when you try to fight against the system that seems like it's set up to destroy you, it feels like you have to try. And again, that's where the tools come in, because for anything that's bad on the planet, there is something good, and it just is going to depend on where you're looking.
yes, yes, I think so. I think so. Um, I'm not sure. I thought you mentioned we were going to go quite a few directions today. Is there another direction you'd like to go in, or?
Well, I'll talk a little bit about my center and what my mission is, because I have one center in Kansas City, but it will be global very soon.
Okay.
I as
With the
a
internet, right?
as a as an intuitive teacher here at Transcendence, um, I can kind of see that the planet is shifting. We are in the process of moving into a very fast evolution, and you can just look around and tell that's happening. People are what we could call waking up. They're starting to question their lives. They're starting to ask more important questions. They're starting to take better care of themselves, or at least find out how to do that. I mean, this age of health and wellness is just really come in those last 10 years, and that is due to a very intense fast evolution that's happening on this planet, and we are going to be moving with it, or we are going to fight against it. It's like it's happening. Evolution is necessary, and Transcendence is kind of a cutting edge wellness center that only caters to the underlying root cause of suffering. So if we could find the root cause of suffering and all of us could really work on that, then hospitals would disappear,
Yeah, I think.
and we would no longer have sick care. We would have health care.
Yeah,
So I'm a very big pioneer of that. People call me, crazy, whatever. Obviously, with you and I's childhoods, we're that's just normal knowing. I think that why I'm on this planet is, first I was the abused person, and boy, do I have compassion. That is one thing that my childhood has
yes,
taught me is wow, I understand people's journeys,
yeah,
and at no level you know,
Do you,
that would I not understand that?
do you find yourself being compulsive about maybe? Well, let's just take the example of being good. Do you find yourself compulsively doing good and being good?
I don't know if it's good. I mean, I wouldn't call it good. I wouldn't call it.
Honorable, maybe.
Yeah, I would say that I feel like my job is to help heal all of the children like me. And we're
Okay.
all children.
Okay.
And my job is to show them how to do that. And then my job is to show them that, once something actually physically manifests in the body, it's already materialized. So we need to work backwards. We need to work smart. We need to be educated, and we need to have the full picture. And so I'll be opening these centers all around the country, and I'll be doing live streaming of my teachings and other people who teach here all through the planet, so that people actually not just go, oh wow, that's a possibility, but here's how to do it.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's where we can move past our victim mentality. Is okay, well, how do I manifest? How do I manifest a better job? How do I manifest a healthy body? How do I heal my childhood? How do I, all these things? And I will tell you that 99% of it's pretty much free once you learn how to do it, because all the answers come within yourself. You just need someone to kind of hold that mirror for you until you remember who you are.
Certainly. Yeah, I've been doing live streaming, and well, I've got a live stream account I've had for over 2 years now, and I've also got a Ustream account, so I'm actually doing that stuff right now. But I I find myself, Jessica, being compulsive at just doing most of anything. I'm sorry, not just compulsive, but obsessive compulsive, OCD, if you will, on being good, or trying to, anyways, for the most part. I am good, and honorable is just, I don't know, I don't know whether it's a fault or not.
No. Well, I mean, when you put yourself in a category of OCD, it kind of means that you're doing it and you don't have control over it.
Yeah,
Again, if you look at it, you're really trying to do good because that's who you are. And I think it's more about integrity. I think that you just have a very strong integrity, and therefore you want to you want to share that.
Do-
And so whether that's OCD or whatever, it's, to me, I live and breathe my work. I'm here on a Sunday talking to you, and this is the most
Yeah.
exciting thing that I could possibly do today. So I'm excited about it. And it's like anytime I get to talk about this stuff, I'm living my joy. And so yeah, you could call me obsessive, because it's like until there has been a shift on this planet and there's more good than bad, I'm going to keep doing this.
Certainly, certainly. I guess what I was trying to get to, I I find myself trying to be just the opposite of how I was treated throughout my entire life. I just have the polar opposite a way of thinking.
Well, and that's the word. Let's go into to that word try, because try implies weakness. So you're trying to be the person that you didn't get the example from. So again, I bet you that if we did some healing on your childhood, you would just be. You wouldn't have to try. It would just be really effortless, and it would be very authentic. Because the name of the game is to be completely authentic and be totally okay with who you are, and we're going to always be perfectly imperfect, but we're not going to be triggered, and we're not going to be sick. We're going to be authentic. And we've just never been allowed to be authentic, because I know, just talking to you now, you're an intuitive kid. And I know that when you're an intuitive kid, it kind of scares people. And they have a tendency to, kind of make fun of you and bully you, because your energy is different. And kind of what you're sending out is different than what other kids are. And so, I know a lot of kids that come in here, and a lot of adults that used to be intuitive, that kind of lost their way until, something changed and they became adult and they connected back into kind of like the mission of why they're here, is we're just more sensitive, and not that we're different than anyone else. We've just chosen to be more sensitive, and that's why you felt so different. But when your parents don't give you the love, you're always going to be searching for that.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
like whatever we didn't get as children, we are constantly searching for. So, a perfect example would be if my dad didn't love me or he was emotionally unavailable for me, then my relationship as an adult, I am literally going to be madly in love with a man who's emotionally unavailable because I really want to heal that.
Huh.
So,
That's
we
interesting
attract
there. Yeah.
relationships that are geared towards healing.
Do you? Okay. That's pretty
And then,
interesting.
we run away from them.
Yeah.
Until we learn,
Sabotage
okay,
it.
it's time to heal.
Sabotage it. Yeah. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is all very, very interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to set some things up with you. I don't know, what kind of scheduling we can get going on here, but at least this particular show is going to have to be the first one. I can see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I never refuse an opportunity to share this work. And is this the only way? No, but I know it works. I know it helps. I know it's part of the solution and not the problem. I've seen, I've just seen the most amazing success stories. And I've been doing this work before I opened my wellness center. I was doing this in private practice.
Yeah.
And I was working with doctors, and I was as an intuitive, and again, it's all about finding that underlying root cause of suffering, and I've been able to do this work, beautifully in a lot of different places. And it wasn't until this last year that I said, I'm going to open up my own place, and do this like professionally with a lot of different practitioners. So we have education, but we also have healing practitioners here. So again, we have reflexology, we have quantum healing hypnosis, we have biofeedback, we have theta healing, we've got energy healing, we've got deep massage work. We've got that kind of chiropractic based nervous system repair work that we do here. So I've only allowed things to come in that really help work on the inner journey and don't create codependency.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not going to run to my chiropractor 5 times a week and then run back into a toxic environment because, again, we are always a product of our environments.
Yeah. I may have to try to find some kind of way to spend some time out there, anyways, to get the actual
Full,
the
definitely
first
come on out. We'll take care of you.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we can just Skype. We get a lot done, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I wonder when people, Americans especially, I know we can be the worst on some of the things we've been talking about today, but do you have any kind of knowledge on when things started to change and we started being so abusive to each other? Or
Look in the history books. We've always been this way. And I think the reason why is because, just lovingly, I believe in the body, mind, and soul. I believe that that bigger sense of ourselves got lost somewhere. That sense of oneness and not me, but we got lost somewhere along the way, and community got lost. Because if you look at the Native Americans and you look at some other places in the planet where they had just this amazing peace and they took care of the land and the land was sacred and they were sacred to each other. And they didn't have medicine, they didn't have drugs, they had medicine. And they celebrated each other. And if you look at that, those are the things that were destroyed. And so what we're trying to do as people who are awakening, right, is we're kind of getting back to that community-based living. Like, I love doing barter. I love giving back to the community and volunteering and paying service, because to me, that's how, people say, oh, how am I going to change the world? We got to get, Obama out or whatever. And I'm going, no, the change needs to start with us.
It does.
We need to become awesome people, and therefore we teach other people how to be awesome. And then guess what? Then we don't need government anymore, because there are places on this planet right now that are self-governing.
Yes, they are. Once once the population, once the masses do start awakening, they will soon figure out that government is irrelevant. But I've got another funny little story for you. You mentioned the Native Indians, Native Americans. They didn't really have a word for medicine way back in the day. They were called healers. They the term medicine man or medicine woman came from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
The word medicine came from Europe. It wasn't in the native language.
You're right.
And they also didn't really have a word for buy or sell either.
Mm-mm.
They used barter or trade.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
We will get back to all of this. This is, if you know, I do a lot of intuitive. I do a lot of intuitive readings, and I wouldn't consider myself a psychic. What I can actually do is, and this might sound a little freaky to your folks that are listening in, but I can actually tap into the quantum field, and I can look at timelines. So I can look at probable outcomes of future, past, present, side, parallel, and I can tell you that we are going to evolve into community-based barter, service, and value. We are moving back into unconditional love on this planet, even if it takes us a few life cycles.
That's very, very interesting. Because there's a lot of people out there that still are in they're part of the control system, the control mechanism. They don't really think that way. They think that they are more or less bequeathed or begotten by the Creator or God, whatever you want to say, that they are supposed to be in control, and they are supposed to be the ones that are controlling the monetary system, the control of the people, control of this, that, and everything. And
yeah, we know who they are.
Yeah, we know who they are.
And they know who they are. And again, it's knowledge is power. Because if the people knew exactly who they were inside, and they knew how unlimited, and how they could heal their bodies, and how they could heal their minds, and how they could manifest anything that they wanted, regardless of who is governing what, then the masses would basically remove government and powers that be in years, if we could all just do this. Because again, we've put them in power. We have said, okay, we have allowed them to bully us because we didn't know our own power.
Yes.
We think that we need their food. We think that we need their money. We think we need this. And then we become part of the problem. But that's only because we haven't learned who we are inside, which is unlimited, deliberate creators of reality.
Yes.
We are here to manipulate energy and have anything we want. Just like they know that they can have anything that they want, we should know that we can have anything we want.
That's right.
And you know what? There has been secret societies on this planet since the beginning of time teaching the information that you and I have just been talking about.
Right.
Epigenetics, quantum physics. This is what they teach. They know how the universe works. And so the only thing that they have above us is knowledge.
Knowledge, yes. You really don't have to control every part of, let's say like a police force. If somebody wants to cover something up, some type of a crime, you don't have to control every single police officer that's in a particular police force. You just have to control the top power structure to be able to control the cover-up.
Right.
I know
yeah,
that's...
it's again, conspiracy theory is a real thing, just as real as disease. But again, when we think that what's being covered up, just personally, we have no idea what's really happening, because I can tell you that it's like 1% of what the media says is true anyways. So if that's where we're getting our information from, it's really time to look within. Because
that's funny you should mention that.
It's like we need to start looking in for the answers instead of constantly waiting for someone to rescue us. And then when they don't rescue us, I say it's almost like we have become the backseat drivers of our lives, and we've allowed all these people to be the drivers, and then we sit in the backseat and complain about it.
Well, I've been studying the media for over 6 years now, and I can probably do an entire show just by myself on what the media does, how they manipulate, how they control society. The media and the entertainment system set out from day one, from these secret societies that you just happened to mention. They set out to control and manipulate and create the society that we have today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if they can do it, why can't we do it? But we do it for love. They do it for power. We do it for love. The whole planet changes in one lifetime.
Certainly. in one generation.
See, it's not complicated. We just can't focus on the problem. We have to, it's almost like when you say the word problem, there's negative energy around that. But if I say challenge, it becomes a game.
Okay.
So we just need to challenge ourselves. It's kind of like this. If there's war outside of us, there's a war within us. And our job is to heal the war within ourselves, and then the war outside disappears.
Well, I know as a society, just the masses, just all of the people of the world, we give away our power every single day. We've given away our power to these people for a long time now.
Well, and that's exactly true, but look at how you said that. We give our power away. That
Yeah.
means deliberate. That means free will. That means here you go.
Well,
So, it's like, but the thing is, it's because we've come from a place of being unconscious doing it, meaning we didn't think that there was another way.
yeah. Well, that's probably a fear-based condition there, isn't it?
Always, yeah. I mean, again, we were bullied by the kids on the playground, and now the government's bullying us. I mean, what's the difference? It's like we are just manifesting this, we're just recreating the trauma over and over. And we have been since the beginning of time on this planet. We just recreate the trauma over and over and over again. So at some point, someone, and there's tons of people on this planet actively working on the same mission that I am, to say, okay, so this is what those secret families are doing, this is what the secret societies are doing, so now we're going to do it in our wellness center, but we're going to do it towards loving instead of power. We're going to teach you all the things the secret society teaches you, except we're going to do it in our wellness center, and you're going to love everyone, and then we're going to completely overturn this whole system. I mean, that's basically what we're doing, is we're teaching the same things. The control that's been on this planet has been basically quantum physics, biochemical engineering, and fear-based media.
Yeah.
So you know what, you and I are having an awesome, positive, enlightening talk using media. So guess what? We have become part of the solution.
Yes, absolutely. You've studied quantum physics and that type of stuff before. I have heard. I would really have to research it quite extensively to verify it. But I've heard the statistic or the number thrown out there that science has recently found out, I don't know whether it's been the last 50 or 60 years, that the atom is somewhere in the vicinity of 99.97% free and open space, and they don't
It's empty. Yep. It's completely empty.
They don't really understand what holds the atom together. They don't really understand what makes concrete or wood hard, or the skin the way it touches.
Well, and that would be a spiritual discussion, because where science leaves off, spirit comes in.
Well, certainly.
Because it's kind of like you are a bunch of atoms, and spirit is holding you all together.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
manifests in that,
Well,
and that form of spirit is your personality, you know?
Is it a vibration, maybe?
It's all vibration and frequency in this universe. So the piece of wood has a unique frequency. The chair has a frequency. You have a frequency. Fear has a frequency. Love has a frequency. Water has a frequency. So really, the direction that we're going to be moving on this planet, as far as how we're going to be healing, is all frequency-based healing. Because that's how we shift the molecules of the matter and create that which we choose.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all frequency and it's all vibration. But emotion is vibration.
Well, going back as far as the written history, anyways, at least the last 6,000 years, reincarnation has always been a just pretty much I wouldn't say a verifiable fact, but it's deeply embedded in most cultures of the world that there is reincarnation. People with regressive therapy have recalled many of their past lives, as 20, 30, or 50, or 100 past lives. If somebody has a particular spirit, everybody has their own spirit, but if one can believe in reincarnation, how can you not actually believe that that this physical body that we are in is nothing but a virtual experience.
100%. And and everybody is allowed to believe what they want on this subject. To me, it's common knowledge at this point that we've lived many lives. I've been doing quantum healing hypnosis for a while, and I've had people go into numerous past lives. I myself have regressed into past lives. So to me, it's as real as peanut butter and jelly. So, but yeah, it's all about just embracing it for what it is and what it feels. It feels good to you. How it resonates within you.
Yeah, I've got a little comment, and yeah, actually a little thing that I've thought for just nearly my entire existence. Well, at least until I really started to notice my own cognitive thoughts in that, to experience my own thoughts, but. Maybe you can make a comment afterwards. I've always thought for many, many, many years, probably until the age of, or even going back as far as the age of 4 or 5, that I was probably born in the wrong century. I should have been born maybe 150 to 200 years ago. Just my own personality, just my own thoughts, just my own feelings. I don't know whether I haven't really enjoyed or liked the existence that I'm experiencing right now.
Well, I'm tapping into your energy field right now, and next week let's have a private session because I would actually kind of really like to explain to you who you are.
Okay.
Because I have some information about you. Yes.
Well, I just feel like I have a lot more honorable ancient soul.
You do, and you have that indigo. You have that indigo spirit, that warrior for change, and you've been, if I can say this openly, you've been on many battlefields, and you've always had the same purpose, you've always had very strong integrity, and that's all that is always
I thought so too.
It's kind of bit you in the butt, in a couple different lifetimes because. It's like it's hard to stand up and tell the truth. It's hard to stand up and say this is right,
Well,
and when we do that, we're what I look at it is we're just trying to get it right, and we're just trying to move through lifetimes until we move back this planet. Till we move this planet back to love.
Yeah, I I have to suggest to you when I produce the YouTube video of this, I'm gonna have. Well, you are gonna be required to watch the video and the the entire thing, because you will be able to just see the enlightenment in my face and my eyes whenever you say something. I don't even know. Maybe the smile is coming up over the internet airwaves also, but I don't know.
Good. Everybody deserves to know who they are.
Yeah.
And everybody deserves to know how amazing and perfectly perfect they are, despite what you've been through, despite what has been done to you, despite what you think of yourself. There is this perfection that lies within all of us, and we have this greatness that is waiting. And all we have to do is care enough about ourselves to go on the journey within and look and heal and unlearn and remember. Let's look at that word remember, put back together who we came here to be.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate of responsibility. When I was a little kid, my mom used to say all the time, "You're so irresponsible. You're so irresponsible." And that was like literally ingrained in me because I was very much in my imagination as a child. It was my safe space. And I remember in a meditation one day, that word came to me. And instead of coming to me, it was spoken to me in a different way. And it said to me, responsibility, the ability to respond.
Oh,
and
yes. Yes.
And I looked at that and I went, I have not responded to myself once. I have not given myself one thing that I've needed. And so now when someone says, "You're responsible," I just laugh and say, it's the ability to respond. So, it's all about the self journey, and it's about caring enough about ourselves to go in. And I think we're afraid of our greatness, but we're also afraid of failing. But we really are. We can't fail. You know, you never talk to an 80-year-old man who says, let me tell you about my failures. He says, let me tell you about my experiences.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
So there's no such thing as failures. There's just stepping stones that basically take you back to yourself.
Yeah. Well, people that old, they weren't stupid, and still get that. I mean, you didn't get 80 years, you didn't get 80 or 90 or 100 years old being stupid. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and you know what? And the times have changed. You know, we're in the era of electronics, and so we can live more virtually. But it's not going to stop this work that we need to do. You cannot hide behind a computer your whole life, because again, we're in the process of an evolution, whether people believe it or not, and therefore they are starting to question their lives, and they are starting to question their doctors, and they are starting to question their governments. And when this happens, there will be a revolution, but it will be a peaceful revolution, because it will be one that's happening within.
Absolutely. Do you think people just know that there's something wrong and they just can't put their finger on it?
Everyone is intuitive. Everyone. And so there's this just there, it's like that gut, it's like that heart. When the heart's, things don't make sense logically sometimes, but your heart directs you. And if we would just get out of our minds a little bit more and get into our heart, this would be a lot faster process. But we have to think about everything. We have to rationalize everything. Everything needs to make sense. And with matters of the heart, it doesn't ever make sense. And we need to listen to our gut more, because that's our intuition saying, it's like a lot of clients will come to me and they'll say, well, my gut told me, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, so let's practice trusting. That goes back to that word again, trust. Yeah. We don't trust ourselves.
Two little phrases come to mind. The one is paralysis of analysis, and the other one is you think long, you think wrong.
Yep, because you'll overthink yourself. It's kind of like the analogy of, a couple of years ago, I was doing a lot of quantum physics and biochemical research, and I was like 25 minutes late coming home, and my husband was worried sick because I wasn't answering my cell phone, and, I was just lost in science. And he was freaking out, and by the time I got home, he had me dead in a ditch. He was calling the police, and I said, see what your mind does?
Yeah.
It's like your mind went and filled in all the blanks.
Certainly.
And our minds do that. Our minds put in information that is so not true. Because our mind needs to have a story.
Absolutely. Well, we've only got about 2.5 to 3 minutes left, Jessica. Would you like to... I don't know, end it out with a couple minutes, just a little speaking or anything?
I guess my, what I would love to see is that, especially for the listeners that you have on this show, that they don't necessarily run to my website and, hop on and check all of us out, but just sit back and just really take stock. Don't ever take score, because that will make you miserable. Take stock. Take stock of your life and just think about who you are and, where you want to go and how you'd like to get there. And I'm telling you, if you just sit with yourself and really have a conversation with yourself, all of a sudden, anything that you need will start showing up in your life. Meaning, if you need some help dealing with some grief, someone will move into your life to help you. Because, again, it's almost like when we let go and surrender and say, okay, I'm really just going to stop fighting against the fight, and I am just going to just be with myself and start asking myself questions. Then it's like people, places, circumstances, and events just start lining up to help support you on that journey. And there are, other people like me out there that are giving their entire lives to this transformation and, transcending this darkness into light. Because that's really all the definition of enlightenment is to shine light on one's own darkness. And if we can look within without judgment and realize that there is just a broken, abused little child in there waiting to be healed, and all they need from us is love and guidance and tools, then you will start searching out and you will find and connect with the right people that inspire you and expand your life. Because anything that contracts your life makes you feel small. And anything expands your life makes you feel big. And we all want to feel big. We want to feel important. We want to feel heard, seen, nurtured, and loved. And so whether it's my website or thousands and thousands of other people out there doing this, Just this is our job is for us to start loving ourselves unconditionally, and if we can't do that, then we need to heal until we can.
Absolutely. One little phrase that comes to mind, you've reminded me just countless things today that you've happened to have said. There's Dr. Phil, the TV doctor, the psychologist. He says a lot of the times, if you've been doing something wrong many, many times and you're still doing something wrong, you have to ask yourself, how is that working for you?
Yeah. Right.
There's my music there, so I want to thank you so very much for coming on today, Jessica Alstrom.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, and I will be speaking to you very, very soon, and I'll see everyone next week with a new guest. I'm Stephen Roberts. This has been Cancel the Cabal. Good night, everyone.